Hello and welcome to this driving test at night. Yes, you don't normally do driving tests in the dark at night, so I thought we'd go and do one and see what it's like. So in this video I'm going to be driving a full-length driving test route from the Kings Heath test centre in South Birmingham, and I'll be giving you lots of hints and tips about driving tests, driving lessons. There might even be some driving anxiety stuff thrown in there. I haven't planned this at all, so as always, I'm just going to make it up as I go. So when I say night time, it's currently coming up to 5 PM, but it is starting to get dark. And these are the kind of like conditions where normally a test would be stopped, or they wouldn't even start them in these. So when I get driving, and I'm going to answer the question about why don't they do nighttime tests, and will they be doing them soon? So I've got the interior lights on for now. I'll turn those off just for now. But if I remember, I'll turn those back on later so you can see me a little bit better. So I'll turn on, checking my handbrake, gear, turn the car on. I would like to point out, if you do see any vampires, werewolves, zombies or giant spiders, don't be worried. It's just coming up to Halloween, so there's no danger, I'm fine. I did see one giant spider earlier, which you'll be seeing on the screen now. If you look on the left hand side of the screen, there's about a 30-foot wide spider outside someone's house. Sometimes they have you crawling over the roof, and I do like to take people that way if they've got a fear of spiders. Anyway, let's get driving. As you can see on the screen, hopefully I've got the sat nav ready to go later on. So I'm going to go first gear, check around. There's no one around, but it will signal because it's getting dark, so there's some people behind, pedestrians who may want to know. So let's get the big question out of the way to begin with. Why don't they do driving tests in the dark or at night? Well, the simple answer is it's a legal thing. So the law as it stands, I'm going to go right to the end of the road. The law as it stands states that driving tests, both the practical test and the eyesight test before it, must be done in good daylight. I'm going to put a handbrake on here because this is a bit of a bad view. I know I can see I won't be able to go just yet. There's a few cars coming up. So you can't do a driving test in light such as this because it must be good daylight, and that's the only reason. It's just an old law that's been around for years. I thought that was someone with a pumpkin. Now it's just an orange bag. It's an old law. It's been around for a long time, and that's why they don't do them in the evening. Now there are other reasons, like for example, the examiners may not want to work evenings, so they'd have to work out some kind of, shift system or whatever, and that's the main reasons really. The examiners would not really want to do it. They have to change all that over. But the main one by far is it's just an old law that you need to have good daylight. And the conditions that we've got now, I don't know what it will look like on a camera, because these are my new cameras, and they're much better than my old ones. These have got larger sensors and they're much better in the dark, so hopefully you can see what's going on. I'm going to follow to the left here. No need to indicate because I'm just following. There's no one around really anyway. So yeah, this route is about 40 minutes long-ish, but it depends on traffic. One reason I came out this time of day or night or whatever is because it's just about 5 PM now. It's going to tick over to 5 PM. So I thought it'll be a bit busier. If I come out and did this at 8 o'clock at night when it's pitch black, the roads would be much quieter, which is another reason why they don't do nighttime tests, because it may be unfair if some people are doing tests in the day when it's busier and some people do them in the evening. But please let me know what you think. Would you want to do a nighttime driving test? Would you do one at 6 PM, 7 PM, 10 PM? Would you do one at midnight? Would you be happy to pay extra for it if they said, well, we'll do it, but you're going to have to pay extra because they've got to get the examiners working and sociable hours and whatever? I'm going to creep forwards a little bit because I can see quite well, but I'm just getting a better view, so I'm creeping, doing a bit of clutch control, but I really can't go, so I'll stop, apply the handbrake. I still can't go for quite a while. This is why I can this way, because I know it's going to be quite busy. They're flashing me to go. I will thank them, although they probably can't see me at night, because this car has tinted windows at the front. They're legally tinted, they're factory fitted, but people can't always see you if you put your hand up to say thanks. The rear windows are blacked out more, but the front windows, here's a good tip for you. The front windows in your car must let a minimum of 70% natural daylight through. If they don't let 70% natural daylight through, they're illegal. So these are tinted to the maximum allowed amount, which is like 30% tint. But when you see people driving around with, you know, heavily tinted blacked out windows at the front, that's illegal. So I'm going to pull up on the left here. I will be blocking the driveway, but I'll be moving off again straight away. This is what you do on your test. They would say, can you pull over here? Disregard driveways on this occasion. And then with your handbrake neutral, the examiner says, can you move off again? I'm going to get moving quickly because I don't want to block anyone's driveway and annoy them. But I'll go through that again later on about moving off. It's one of the big things. It's the third biggest thing people fail on from this test centre, and the third biggest thing people fail on nationally on the driving test. So what about doing driving tests at night? Well, I looked at this earlier today when I was preparing for this video, and I don't prepare much, but I thought I'll have a quick look. I don't script anything, but I looked on the DVSA website and I did notice something quite interesting. They've removed the wording saying that tests must be done in good daylight. Now that's interesting because, and I'm going to pull these lights on now. It's a bit weird driving around the lights on, but you can see me better on that camera. Back in February of 2022, they did do a consultation where they were asking people what they thought of doing driving tests later in the day in the dark. And they explained back then about how it was all about, you know, poor light and I must have daylight or whatever. And nothing was ever said about that, it just vanished. And they often do this to DVSA. They have these consultations and then they just vanish, just fade into the ether, and you never hear anything about them again. So what do I think of it? Well, I think it would be a good idea to have driving tests in the dark, because first of all, well, you're going to drive in the dark anyway, aren't you? So it's a good idea to have tests in the dark. I would probably say that if you pass your test in the dark, you might have to pass one in the day as well. I don't know, I haven't really thought about that, but you could kind of cheat to be in the dark if it's very quiet later in the evening. I don't know, but I think it would be, I don't see any reason why you can't do a test in the dark. And there are lots of theories about, you know, it's because you can't see road markings and blah blah, but really it's because of what I said. To give right here, roll up in first gear, brake off, keep momentum, jet the mirrors, gas, clutch, no signal needed, and go. That's what you should be being taught, to keep momentum. Good drivers, I'm going to signal early for that car, so that car went when I signalled. Good drivers keep momentum. It's easier to do it than say it. So for example here, if I was to give way, if you're being taught to do this, to just stop dead, handbrake, one, that's not very good driving, because once you stop dead, it gives the impression sometimes, I've had this with pupils where pupils pulled up like this, they've given way with a parked car, the one behind us just gone round us, because I think you're just stopping. So I did a thing about moving off better here than I did earlier. And I'm sorry if I'm jumping from one topic to another, I'm just making it all up as I go. So moving off is what people fail on, the third biggest thing people fail on. You must do, I don't want to say must, there are different ways you can do it, but it's good to do it like this. Prepare, observe, signal, handbrake, posh. So be posh when you move off. Prepare, clutch, first gear, gas, clutch if needed. Sorry, not clutch on its own, gas then clutch. I'm choking because I was getting flashbacks of when I did my gas then clutch video. So gas and then clutch. Mirrors, so observations, which include the mirrors. Centre mirror, right mirror, right blind spot, signal, handbrake, go. Now, by the time you go for a driving test, you won't be doing it that slowly, but that's the order you should be doing things in. There is not a different way for learners and instructors to drive, but if I show you what I may do when I do it, I don't follow that order simply because I can do it so quickly I don't have to prepare the pedals. So there's nothing wrong with doing this if you're experienced. I can go, check, yep, no one around, signal, go, because there's not much of a gap between when I look and when I go. But if you're a new driver, even if you've got a bit of experience and you're going for a test, you may find that hard to do. So what you can't do is this. I'm going to make sure no one's around, but imagine I haven't done that. People do this. You've already messed up. You've signalled. You haven't even got ready. You haven't even looked. You're not in any way ready to go, and you've just stopped someone coming down the road, or you've made people think you're going to go. So the best way of doing it is prepare. Clutch, 1, gas, clutch. Observe, remember, yes, you shouldn't be driving like a brand new driver, like a learner. But when you go for a test, you're not expected to be the greatest driver ever. The driving test does not mean you're the best driver ever and you're fully prepared for everything. The point of passing a driving test, I wonder how many people actually know this. Did you know the point of passing a driving test is it shows you meet the minimum standard required to continue practicing to get better on your own. You don't pass a test and I'm the best driver ever. I know it all. I'm better than my instructor. I've been driving for 40 hours. Yeah, I know it all. Not many people know that, but there are some people who think they've passed the test and they know it all. You may not know, but for the first 2 years after passing your test, you are on probation. You are on like a limited full license. You can't do everything a full license holder can. For example, you can't get as many points on your license. Well, you can get as many points, but you'll lose your license easier than someone who's been driving for longer. It's called the New Drivers Act, and it came in, was it 90s? I can't remember now. I think it was about 98. I can't remember off the top of my head. But you don't just, when you go on a test, the point of this is, the examiner doesn't expect you to do it like I would. You don't have to go gas, clutch, mirrors, check, go. That's an experienced driver doing that. I've been doing it for over 20 years. You don't have to be that fast and perfect, but you've got to show you understand how to drive safely. So I'm checking both ways, minimum of twice looking both ways I recommend. Check the centre mirror as you join a new road. Now this car has a feature which is an electrochromatic mirror, which is fairly common these days, but an electrochromatic mirror simply means it makes the mirror look a bit weird in the dark. What it does is it automatically tints the mirror, so everything behind me now looks green. Talking of Halloween, it's like Frankenstein's a monster. So it's a bit like on older cars you used to have. I'm just watching out for this kid on this trike bike thing. Yeah, kids can be unpredictable. On older cars you used to have the dim dip mirror where you used to pull it towards you to put it into different modes and push it away. Most cars now, this one included, have electrochromatic mirrors, which is simply when the mirror kind of darkens itself at night so you don't get dazzled by the lights behind. And I hope you can see fine on the front camera with the interior lights on. I'm sorry if you can't. It's just if I have the interior lights off, you probably can't see me much at all. Maybe because you're better out the front, I don't know. But if I put that on, oh well, actually, I'll turn left here. So I'm doing this route, but I'm changing little bits of it as I go. So I hope you can see fine on the video, but I've not filmed with these cameras in the dark before. So this is roughly a third of the way through the test, and this car's doing something I would not recommend doing in the dark. Parking on the wrong side of the road, parking facing oncoming traffic on that side of the road. Why is that bad? Look at the silver car there. What is there on the back of that silver car? What is there on the back of a car that there isn't on the front of a car? Yes, there's a rear wiper. Yes, there's a rear windscreen. But what is there on the back of the car, like that one on the left? Why can't you quite see it so well? Although you can see it well, why can't you see it as well? because there are no reflectors on the front of a car. I remember that was one of the first things I learned as an instructor. So if you park like this one here on the left is, you can see the red reflectors at the bottom. If you park facing traffic on that side, you can't be seen as well. And did you know that if someone crashes into your car parked like that, your insurers probably won't pay out? Did you know that? A lot of people don't know that, and they get surprised when they say my car's been hit. It's been hit head on. Oh, head on, which side of the road you parked on? I was on the left facing traffic. Oh dear, you're not going to get a payout. So please park on the correct side of the road. Now yes, it is part of the driving test that you have to pull up on the wrong side and reverse down the wrong side of the road. It's something many driving instructors have never agreed with. We should not really be teaching people that, but that's what's on the test, so that's what we have to do.
What you'd have known better being a driving instructor.
Well,
to set a learner off facing the wrong way.
You can. This is how the test begins.
Right? So the test begins on the wrong side of the road.
You have to. It's the new rules.
Well, I want to tell you something. It's an accident blown around here.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I have to do, is teach them.
So
if I don't teach them, they do wrong. No, you have to know. You have to teach them to move off on the wrong side.
Oh, right.
So it's part of the rules. Yeah.
It's strange, isn't it? This
I know. I know normally you wouldn't park here, but...
The people who live here, they always park the wrong way.
Yeah.
And quite a few times have nearly had an accident.
Yeah, I know.
To me, I think it's...
Well, you know, normally I come that way. It's only the second time we've done this way. But you have to do it. Yeah. I don't mind the rules.
Well, so you've got to apply to the rules that you know, it's strange.
Yeah, that's the rules.
I think I need some driving lessons.
For some reason they removed one of the most useful things you ever teach, a turn in the road, a 3-point turn, a 5-point turn, a 7-point turn, and they replaced it with what some people see as a dangerous manoeuvre you shouldn't do. Why did they do that? They did it years ago. So anyway, I don't recommend pulling up on the wrong side of the road. But if you go from that test centre back there, the one I went from, you have to actually start on the wrong side of the road. Now, talking about lights, there are loads of lights in the car, and I was going to put this into this video, but I think I'll do it in a separate video. There are dipped lights, dim lights, full beam, auto main beam, which we might see later, fog lights. Did you know about reading lights, the ones I've got on now? You might think you know about lights. Do you know what turning lights are? Not signals, indicators. Do you know what turning lights are? Something I didn't know about for years. I've been a driving instructor. One day, one of my pupils was coming back on a test, and I noticed my car doing something quite odd, and I didn't even know it had turning lights, which I'd never even heard of. Have you heard of them? No, there is such a thing as turning lights. That'll be in another video. I'll have to talk about that. So yeah, there are fog lights front and rear. There's a massive amount of lights. It's a bewildering array of lights to go over. So maybe I'll do another video on that. If I can find somewhere safe to pull up and film outside the car without getting mugged. So I'm going to go right on the roundabout, third exit, but it is light controlled. It says 3-way control, which means that one of the ways is not light controlled. The car's in standby mode. I've got handbrake and neutral. I'm going to turn it back on in a moment because I can see we're going to be going soon, but there's really no rush. So I'm checking around again. The rear mirror looks all green and weird, but that's the electrochromatic mirror. That's me hiccuping again. As you might know, when I make videos, because I have to talk so much and I tend to have to talk quite quick to get information fitted in, I often seem to get hiccups when I make a video like this. So roundabout right, third exit, I'll still signal, I'll still treat the roundabout as though it was a roundabout, looking all ways, they've stopped. That way is, it is 4-way light controlled, so it's a 3-way. I'm going to take the next road on the right, and we are about to encounter one of the big points of this video. And this is going to save you from failing your driving test. And it is now pretty much pitch black. I'm surprised how dark it's got quite quickly. Mind you, you've been driving for what, 20 minutes or so, 15 minutes. So I'm going to pull up and put the sat-nav on, and this is where so many people fail their test on this particular route and other routes like it around the UK. Here we go. So I'm going to pull up here, and it's time to introduce the sat-nav. So handbrake neutral, turn the signal off, reset. That's when the examiner will normally say, okay, can you now continue? So I'm going to turn off fully. This won't affect the cameras because they're not plugged in. So check. I think you'll be seeing me okay if I turn these lights off and on. Yeah, it doesn't affect the front camera, so that's good. So the sat-nav is on and it's set to go the way I want to go. Just let it find where we are. It's just picking up. Yeah, you've got it. That's quite fast. That sat-nav's been turned off for about 8 months or more, so it's working well. And I'm just going to lean over and turn on the backup battery. I recommend if ever you're doing anything in your car, turn the engine off fully. You may know if you touch your phone at all with the engine on at all, it's an offence. You can't even touch your phone to move it with the engine on. That's an offence you can get points for. So be careful of that. I'll have a quick drink. Right, so let's go over this thing. This is something that quite annoys instructors and examiners alike. Now, when you get to this part of your test, it doesn't matter if you're on this route or other routes, it's all the same. The examiner will say to you, please disregard any speed limits shown by the sat-nav. And when I do tests with people, mock driving tests, which you can watch on my channel, I say to people, please ignore the speed limit shown on the sat-nav. And I say, okay, so right, when it shows you the speed limits, ignore it. Don't go by them. They're wrong. Ignore them. Take no notice. Ignore the speed limits on the sat-nav. Follow what it's saying with the directions, but don't follow the speed shown. And everyone says, okay. And this is what they do. And it drives you mad, excuse the pun. Only one person has not done this. One. In the dozens, hundreds of people I've done this through with. If you don't know, I've been teaching for well over 20 years. I don't know how many years it is, way over 20. I've taught to over 1,000 people. And I've been doing this particular route for, when did it change? I can't remember, 2017 was it? I think the test changed. So we had these routes with the sat-nav, might be earlier. I've got to be doing it that long, I can't remember. So let's go. I'll see no, because again it's dark and I just prefer to do in the dark, but let me show you what people get wrong. Remember what I said about ignoring the speeds on the sat-nav.
Then turn left.
And you should be able to hear that fine, because I did test this earlier on today with the sat-nav and you can hear it on this microphone quite well. So I'm going to follow the sat-nav.
Turn left.
And it looks quite spooky around here in the dark. It's going to be foggy, not too bad. It's going to be rainy, if that's even a word. So we're following the sat-nav. And end of the road left. I hope it does this
At the end of the road, turn left, then turn right.
I hope it does it in nighttime mode, because I think it just changes the colour of the screen.
Turn
I've
left, then turn right.
never had it in nighttime mode before. I've never used this sat-nav in the dark before. I've got a built-in sat-nav, which is much better, and it's got Google Maps on it as well, but this is the one the driving examiners use. See how it says 30 at the bottom? Okay, what did I say? About ignore.
After 100 yards, turn right.
The speed limits. See at the bottom it says 30. That's correct. I'm going to turn right on a crossroads.
Turn right.
This can be quite hard in the day. It's actually easier at night because you can see the lights coming from the right. The one ahead, see if I go before them or not, probably not. Now they're saying they're coming straight on, so I'm keeping my bright lights on for the car behind. They will come over. There's a car there that's going. Yep, they've gone. I go. Remember what I said about ignore speed limits? What does it say on the sat-nav? Now, well, annoyingly, it says 30. That's weird. that has never said 30 before. That's either been updated or it's because it's in nighttime mode. That's weird. At last it's done it. Normally what happens, I can't show you, is it normally says 60 and everybody starts speeding up to 60. That is so weird. I did update that about 8 months ago. Back in about March 24 I updated it. Wow, they've actually got it right at last. For years it has said this road is 60 and people put their foot down and everyone does it, and the examiner's brakes say this road has a limit of 30, you're going too fast. But the sat-nav says 60. At last they've fixed it. Well, it's a shame I couldn't show you that, but you have to believe me. It used to always say 60. I'm glad. Let's see if any of the roads have got better. There is one part later on that confuses people.
After 300 yards, turn left.
Where it used to say keep right. Let's see if it still says about keep right. And it is now, I'd say, fully dark. This is as dark as it ever gets. Maybe a little bit darker, perhaps, but it's pretty much pitch black. So end of the road left. Mirrors. See, there's a car behind me. Signal. Brake, clutch, steer, then gear. No rush, don't rush it. Roll, creep. After this car, I'll go. This is what I mean about keeping momentum. Check for cyclists in the left and the right mirrors. That's how you do it. Steer, then gear is one of my sayings. Like choose it, use it is another one of my sayings. All there's a ghost on the left. I hope you can see that on the cameras. These cameras should be really good quality in the dark, because I bought these especially for doing dark stuff just as we was going into spring and summer. Now I'm going to activate, well I could activate cruise control. I was just going to say, can you use cruise control on the driving test? Yes. If you don't know what cruise control is, I've done a video on it, but simply allows you to take your feet away from the pedals, not away but off the pedals, and the car holds the speed for you. I won't use it now, but I just thought I'd mention that you can use on tests. I've checked that.
300 yards, turn right.
I remember checking that years ago with an examiner who's now an instructor. He came from the dark side to the light side. And yeah, I'm going right. It looks very different, I'd say. I'll tell you something, I don't often drive in the dark. In fact, I did it last October.
Right.
Someone running with the lights on. Now I'll keep back so I can turn. I can block that one on the left because I've got right of way. Don't worry about letting them go, because if you let them go, you actually cause them more trouble. They'll probably let me go. Yes, I'll go check my mirror. It's very hard to talk as I'm driving, talk quick enough. Now the automatic main beam might come on in a moment. This car has an automatic high beam, main beam feature, what we call brights in America. Let's see if it comes on after I pass this car. Yes, he's come on, there you go. That's really good. It might go off now, let's see. I don't know if you can see that on the video, but the blue light's on, automatic main beam is working. I filmed a video where I went...
Road, turn right.
It's gone off as you see as a car. Brilliant, the main beam works. I filmed a video in October 2023, or Friday the 13th 2023. It was actually October the 12th when I filmed the nighttime one. And I went hunting for a ghost in Devon, in southwest England. I thought it'd be fun. There's this ghost that's supposed to grab your hands and throw your car off the road. And I went hunting for it in a video. And I was doing some nighttime lesson videos at the same time, as well as talking about hypnosis and hypnotherapy. It's quite an interesting video. See the bright lights on the signs? That's the main beam. I turned right, the main beam may go off, but it's on for now. Yes, he saw the car coming from the side and turned off. Well done, clever car. It's good. Checking thoroughly. Now I know one thing about this road, which is it's pothole ridden. It is a land of potholes, and they are massive potholes. You do not want to go down one of these, so I want to be very careful here. I know they're on the left, and I'm going to move right whenever I can, because I know they're really bad. If you hit one here by his post from memory, it's blow your tyre off, it's awful. So I'm keeping slow. I can move right more when there's no one coming towards me, keeping the speed at a reasonable pace. And this is where driving at night time can be hard, because if you don't know the potholes are there, the first thing you'll hear is bang, and that's your tyre gone. And just on this road on the right, I actually had my first ever double blowout, a double puncture, with a pupil back in 2020, November 2020, I remember it well. Because they were just about to announce the second or third lockdown. I can't remember which one it was, second or third, I think it was second. For a month, like what did they call it, a heat reducing lockdown, whatever it was called. Can't remember now. Main beam should come on. Is he going to come on again? Yeah, it's come on again. I hope you can see it on the video, the 50 times lit up. It's going to go off. It's gone off. It's brilliant. It does the main beam itself. Without that feature, you just pull the stick towards you or push it away, depends on your car. Those are things you can learn on driving lessons. I'm going to go right in a moment. It's coming up opposite a nice looking pub on the left. I think it's a pub, a restaurant called The Limes. Bit of free advertising for them there. Never been in there, I don't even drink. No, I drink it, but looks like a nice place. Light's going to come back on. Yeah, he's come back on.
Turn right.
Yeah, I've already driven in the dark, so just don't have any need to. I haven't worked evenings as a driving instructor since 2012. So I'm going to go right. And there's something about work at evenings I'll do in another video. It might be worth doing a separate video about that. I'm turning right here. The car behind me, which looks like a Mini from the headlights, is not. The examiner will get to pull over. I'm not going to pull over because it's dark and I don't want to get in the way, but you might be pulling over more on a driving test. It's pull over, pull off. But I don't want to pull over. It's not the best place to pull over in rush hour in the dark. And the limit's 50. I'm going to get to about probably 40 yards. I've got these cat's eyes in the middle of the road. The white ones tell you the lane markings. The white tells you it's a lane. I can brake if I need to. There's something on the right. It's a reflective strip. I thought it was a cyclist. It's a tree with two reflective bands on. I can speed up a little, my four beams on. The car behind's quite far back. Yeah, this is easier in the daytime, but one reason I'm doing this route, I can't remember if I said this earlier, this route is actually the original, it's what we call Route 1. This is the original route, the first one that was devised by an examiner when the driving test changed. And very sadly, that examiner is no longer with us because he died not long ago. And this is his route, as it were. So this is really hard to see actually down here. So we're going to go right.
After 400
yeah,
yards,
right on the roundabout.
go right on the roundabout and take the fourth exit.
I know this route well. This is what catches people on a test. It's a spiral roundabout with gyratory roundabout. Notice the arrows on the floor. I have had people here who've gone on that side of the road thinking it's a one-way road. It's not a one-way. So right, fourth exit. I've done a whole video on spiral roundabouts, gyratory roundabouts.
Roundabout and take the fourth exit.
And I'll link that in the description. You'll just search for spiral roundabouts first drive. So I'll go right to right. I want the A435N for north. Doesn't sound the floor yet, but it will soon. Now I know this is hard to see in the day, but there'll be a green sign in a moment in the middle saying A435N, middle lane and right lane, so I'll check my mirrors. I drift to the left, that car's coming off. I can still be signaling right because that car's coming off and I'm drifting over. I checked this with examiners and they said you don't have to signal so much on this roundabout. A signal, a good signal, should help someone without confusing anyone or misleading anyone. So I always think, would a signal benefit someone without misleading anyone? Now I can see the green light to the right, so I can wait in standby mode. I can tell the green light on the right, a bit of advanced driving this. When that goes amber, you can tell these lights will be changing, so I can prepare. They are kind of funneled so that they can be seen better in the daytime, and to some degree so people don't predict too much ahead. But in the night time you can see it's on green. As soon as it goes to amber, I shall go clutch, first gear. My view's blocked by the truck, but I can know it's going to be going green. So I check my mirrors, off I go. I don't have to be indicating because I'm not signalling to come off, so I don't have to indicate to go around. I stay in this lane, checking my mirrors thoroughly, being aware these vehicles on the right can also come off the same way as I am.
Exit, then keep right.
It still says keep right. That's the thing I mentioned earlier about keep right. Tyres and tarmac, you should be able to see, you must be able to see tyres and tarmac of the car ahead, the bottom of their tyres and an inch of the road without going like this. If you can't see that, you're too close, probably because there's so many different designs of car and vehicle that it might just be you're not too close, but you still can't see the bottom of the tyres. So covering the brake in case I've committed I'm going, covering the brake again in case that truck comes the wrong way or goes off this way and it goes the wrong way. Signal comes off, I'm staying in third for now. When I get around the bend it's 50 miles an hour. I'll select fifth, do a block key change. It's 50 miles an hour and it says on the stand nav it's got it correct as well. They've moved to maybe help that car out, but I don't need to move because they're far enough ahead. Keep right means stay here, don't go down there. It doesn't mean go in the right lane. Max speed 50, you don't have to do because that's advisory. It's not in a red circle. Red circles are mandatory. You don't have to do an advisory, but the limit's now 50 anyway, because it used to be 70 on this road. So I'm doing 46, the sat nav saying 44. That speedo, by the way, is a bit off. If ever it shows I'm going over the limit, I'm not. It's just that's not that accurate. I will move right here because there are some cars joining, so I'll move over for those, get up to 50, and I'll return to the left as soon as I can, which will probably be after I pass this car. They shouldn't really speed up too much, they should allow me to pass, but they're not going to, they're going to speed up a little bit, I'll still get through.
After 800 yards,
nope, they're speeding up.
And take the
That's quite bad driving on their part, because you're not supposed to speed up. If someone is passing, you don't speed up and block them. They effectively blocked me there. I moved out to let them out and they sped it to the limit and blocked me in the right lane. I can't discuss all that now, I've got too much going on. But let's go ahead, second exit, spiral roundabout again. Loads of people fail here. Beckett's farm, I've done videos on this and I always mean to do more. Choose the lane as far left as you can. Don't just think the lane goes ahead. Does the left lane go ahead?
And take the second exit.
Yes, left lane goes ahead, so left lane is correct. The middle lane is also correct, but a better lane is available because you want the one as far left as you can. We're not bothered about making progress, overtaking cars in the lane, that's an advanced thing we're not doing now. Stay in the left. Go left, go left, go left, keep left, keep left, keep left. One of my pupils years ago, I actually did a mock test with him, Aaron, the first person I ever did a mock test with. He used to sing a song, to the left, to the left. Is it a Beyonce song? I don't know. Now I'm not going to speed up the van, he's going to overtake. Now I speed up. That's what I meant before about the car. You don't put your foot down and think, oh, there's a van, now I've blocked him, and outrun the van. That's bad driving. That car that came out sped up and forced me to be stuck in the right lane, not able to overtake because I was doing the limit. That's bad driving on their part. You're not supposed to do that. And I've had people fail on that. Now, if you come off a roundabout and a car or van, whatever vehicle is overtaking you, don't speed up and have a drag race down the road. You have to be mature. Okay, they're overtaking me, let them go, and then speed up. Don't put your foot down and think, I'm going faster than them, they couldn't overtake me. That's immature and poor driving. You're not supposed to. I'll have to do a separate video on that, but it's a massive thing I could talk about. But I've had people fail on that, even though I teach people not to do it. And the examiners say you were speeding up and there was a vehicle on the right that you were forcing to slow down. And he puts them in a bad spot because now they're doing the limit and you're doing the limit and there's a car behind them forcing them out of the way. I could talk for ages about that because I used to discuss that in my advanced driving lessons. I'm not bothered about going full speed, I'm doing 52-ish because I'm just trying to explain all this stuff to you, and I'm not bothered about going flat out and overtaking. If I go like faster it's louder and it's quite busy anyway, so I'm just keeping it 50 odd. It doesn't matter, you don't have to do 70, it's a limit, not a target. And I was going to try and do some, I did try and do some parking earlier on, but it didn't work out because there wasn't a car there. So I'm actually going to finish with maybe some parallel parking or maybe Bay Park, because I haven't done a manoeuvre. I don't have to do a manoeuvre because it's not a real test. You know, you would have just done a manoeuvre somewhere around the route. But I'm going to show you this one going ahead. This is one I teach people, so I don't...
800 yards, cross the roundabout
there you go.
and take the second exit.
cross the roundabout second exit. Now I'm going to ignore the start nav after this because he's going to a different place. So ignore the start nav after this. Which lane goes ahead? Look at the left lane. Don't just think middle lane goes ahead. Now I know on this one it does because I've been here several thousand times. But look at the left lane. Does the left lane go ahead? Don't just think middle goes ahead. Does the left lane go ahead? No. So it's the middle.
And take the second exit.
See the arrows? This lane now is the left. So this vehicle passing me on the left should not now go ahead. They are signaling left. This lane I'm in, this is the left lane because that lane should not use the roundabout. Should not use the roundabout. So they should go left. But I'm checking both mirrors. I'm moving off. The right one did go left, so I'm moving to left. I'm in the left lane, left to left, not left to right. Now I'm following the lane, not going in the bus lane. That's not going to the right lane. This is still the same lane. I can't explain all this in one video, in one go, in the dark. But that there is how you do, and so many people fail the test there because they go for the middle lane, they cut straight across to the right lane. Failed. I hope you can see that from the video, the way the middle lane was the left lane. I went from middle to middle, or left to left. I didn't go middle, right, middle. I stayed in the same lane. It get very hard to show this in the dark. I didn't know there were roadworks here. I don't think I came the other way, that's why. I came around the back way. But this is now the end of the test. Ignore the start nav, that's going back to the old test centre, which is newer than the new test centre. This is Kings Heath driving to the centre on the right. It's quite busy here, and this is going to be about 40 minutes-ish we've been driving for. So it's been a good test. I think you can still go right here with the roadworks, hopefully. Loads of people fail here. If you're learning to drive, you should have been taught about offside to offside and nearside to nearside. If you don't know what that means, you probably haven't been taught properly. Which side of your car is the near side? Because it's like a ship. You know, on a ship, starboard is the right and port is the left. I always remember that by right star. I imagine looking at someone, because I'm a hypnotist if you don't know, these are kind of hypnotist tricks. I imagine looking at someone and thinking, wow, they're a right star, they're really famous, they're a right star, so right is starboard. That's the kind of mind things you learn in hypnosis. Anyway, now you don't have to know this, but do you know which side of your car is the offside and which is the near side? It doesn't matter if you don't know, but there's a reason.
I've been told this before, but I can't remember.
So just have a guess, which one do you think?
I think that is near.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know why I've got that in my head.
So it's because I'm near the curb is the way to remember that. So near the curb there, and offside is your side, like off away from the curb. So if you look at the car in front, that blue one, if you go into a garage, you don't normally say like the front left tyre's flat, because that could be their left, the one on the right could be the left if you're looking at it from this way. So it's like on a ship, you use like starboard for right and port for left. You don't say left and right with the car. So it's near side left, offside right. Let's keep it on driving. Checking no one's coming the wrong way. There's the test centre. It's always a new shop. Oh, how long has that been there? It's a new newsagent's opened. It's probably been there months, I haven't been around here for a while. Yeah, I'm going to go back. I won't go back
Turn right.
because I'm going to go and do a bay park. But that test centre used to be, do you know what it used to be years ago? Apparently it used to be a cinema, and it used to attract really famous people. I think, was it George Foreman or was it Laurel and Hardy used to go there? It used to be a very posh area. Times have changed. Not being rude, I have people who live around here, but yeah, it's not the most affluent area. It's not bad, you know. I don't want to be a snob, but anyone who lives here will tell you Maypole is not a posh area by any means.
After 60 yards, turn around when possible.
Ignore that.
Take the second left.
It's just talking rubbish. I'm going to pull up by this tree. And to do it by the book, I'm going to turn the engine off and then turn the start nav off. It's best not, you're not supposed to touch. And there's loads of talk about here. You're not supposed to touch any device that can send and receive telecommunications when the engine's running. There's a whole document on that, but quite simply, if your engine is on like this, and let's say my phone's here and I go, I move my phone, that's breaking the law. If your sat-nav is capable of sending and receiving certain kinds of data, you could be breaking the law by touching it. So to be safe and to be sure, I just do a complete shutdown, not standby mode, because your engine is still counted as being on in standby mode. I'm not a police officer, I'm not a solicitor, a lawyer, whatever, but yeah, just don't touch anything electronic except for the built-in car. But I'm not going to get into that, I could talk about it for hours. Just don't touch your phone when you're driving, okay? And if you're not sure, if you want to turn your sat-nav on or off or whatever, don't touch it when the engine's on. Turn the engine off, they're going to let me go. And I'm just heading to do a bay park, unless there are any suspicious characters hanging around the car park, because it can be a bit dodgy, should we say. But it is now fully dark. This is as dark as it gets, and I've been driving for about 45 odd minutes. And at the time of recording this video, I don't yet have my new computer. Just a quick note, if you wonder why at the start of this video I probably didn't have the transition. You know, I used to do transitions where I like to start my videos with a full screen of me in the car, and then the page normally peels down and it reveals the other cameras. I can't do that because these new cameras are so heavy in terms of the data they record. They're 4K, 130 megabits per second, 10-bit video. It's very big video. I think it's like 48 gig per hour or something like that. My 7 or 8 year old PC can't handle transitions with that. So unfortunately, a bit dodgy that roundabout. Sometimes I hear people go and then they signal. That roundabout is a big thing people fail on. Cyclists on the road there. People are going round and they think, oh yeah, by the way everyone, I'm going that way. I've seen so many crashes there. And I remember once, this is going back to 98 or 99. I don't say 1999, when things were brilliant. In 1999, I remember coming down that road one morning. I used to work nights, and I was being driven to work by a friend who picked me up. He picked me up because I've got him a job at his place we worked at together. And yeah, the car park's open. I'm going to try and do a bay park in complete darkness. I can't even see the bay. Let's just give it a go. So, sometimes you can do this because your reversing lights help. But yeah, I'll tell you that story in a moment. I can't see a thing here. I can't even see the bay. This is why you don't do tests in the dark. Put my reversing lights on. No, I can't see a thing. I just cannot see the bay at all. It's completely black. So I'm not going to do that because this is not well lit. And yeah, just to explain, the fence is really hard to see. I don't want to take any risks there. You can't see anything. It's pitch black. That's one reason I don't do tests in the dark, because unless the car park is well lit, which this one isn't. I wonder actually if I could do one this way, because this way is better lit. Yeah, these are okay. So the others, there's no lights over there. So there's glass on the floor. Yeah, there's a bit of glass there. I'm going to do a bay park from here. So imagine I'm on my test. Yeah, I can see them okay. Checking around. I can just about see what I'm doing. And you'll have to trust me there, folks, that is in the bay. It's in the bay. I'm going to stop there. I can't see behind too well. There's a fence there which people have hit. But yeah, that's in the bay. So, engine off. I'll turn off fully. Yeah, that's just in. So like I was saying, if you're going to do this with your phone, turn off. I will film this just to show you I am in the bay. So I'll turn this camera on now. This one works quite well in there. Oops, I'm taking a photo of my feet. Never mind. video, that's it. So here I go. Just to prove it's in the bay. I'll probably put this in the video, maybe I won't. But it's only the middle, doesn't matter, you don't have to be in the middle. It's really hard to see a thing here. Oh, it's good stuff recording on its own. So yeah, I'll finish off that story. About one day one night, I was coming down the road, it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. Someone had missed that roundabout, they just hadn't seen it. And there was a car, did you notice the roundabout was built up with bricks? It was still like that back in 99. A car had gone up it and it was sitting on the bricks, teetering like this. It had just crashed maybe, I don't know, half an hour or so before. There's no one in it, no one standing around, but it was rocking back and forth on the bricks. And I remember saying to my friend, what happened there? And he hadn't even seen it. He hadn't even seen the car rocking on the roundabout. And I said, you should be driving. Anyway, he missed the car on the roundabout. So I really hope you've learned something from that. It's now, come on clock, the clock's turning on. It's been about 50 minutes or so since I started driving. So I hope that's helped you with some driving lesson tips and hints. And we did see a ghost. I didn't say ghost at the beginning, but I mentioned vampires and the rest. But we saw a ghost. It's 4:45, so that was about 55 minutes-ish, this video. And what I was saying is my PC can't do many transitions. So I'm sorry if you watch this whole video with me at the corner. Maybe not, maybe I've got it working. Maybe I've got my new PC by now, but I hope you found that helpful. Check out these other videos of mine on the screen. Visit my website, firstdrive.com. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you again soon for more videos.